My parents always strictly forbade entering the cabin's locked attic room, claiming it was structurally unstable. But now I know their true, chilling reason after prying open that decaying door during a terrifying thunderstorm. Inside, dust motes danced in the lone flashlight beam, revealing archaic furniture. Yet a single, small, perfectly preserved wooden cradle sat eerily in the very center of the oppressive, musty space. Beneath the cradle, a faded, yellowed child's blanket covered a crudely carved wooden doll whose vacant eyes seemed to follow my every hesitant movement through the suffocating silence. Then, I noticed scratched tally marks scored deep into the rough floorboards around the cradle, hundreds of them, meticulously chronicling years of unseen, desperate solitude in the dim light.
A disturbing, barely audible scratching sound echoed from behind the far wall, a rhythmic tapping as if something small, trapped and alive, desperately yearned for release from its unseen prison. My hands trembled uncontrollably as I felt a cold breath on my neck, realizing the eerie sound intensified with my presence, indicating I was not alone within that confined, dusty space. I fled, slamming the door shut, but the faint scratching persists through the wood, a chilling reminder that whatever secrets lie within are still very much active and profoundly disturbed. Now, every night, I hear soft whimpering and an infant's lullaby drifting from that locked room, slowly driving me insane, wondering exactly what my parents truly abandoned inside there.
The cabin's basement had a mysterious bolted steel door, perpetually locked, which my parents cryptically warned was for maintenance equipment. But the truth I uncovered was far more grotesque. I finally picked the rusted lock during a power outage, flashlight beam piercing the suffocating darkness, revealing a small, dank, windowless concrete room reeking of metallic decay and something profoundly wrong. Chains hung from the ceiling, their ends frayed and corroded, leading to an antique blood-stained wooden chair in the room's center, ominously positioned as if awaiting some unspeakable return. Then I saw the wall, covered in crude, ancient symbols drawn in a dark, viscous substance, pulsing faintly in the dim light, making my stomach churn with primal fear and utter revulsion. A deep, resonating hum started emanating from behind the far wall, a low thrumming that vibrated through the concrete floor, growing steadily louder, feeling like a monstrous heartbeat nearby. My flashlight flickered wildly, then died completely, plunging me into absolute, suffocating darkness, leaving me vulnerable as the ominous humming intensified, seemingly surrounding me entirely now. I scrambled back, tripping over unseen objects, managing to pull the heavy steel door shut just as something massive scraped against it from the other side, sending shivers down my spine. Now, a faint, rhythmic scraping sound against the basement foundation occasionally reaches my bedroom at night, a constant, horrifying reminder of whatever ancient, monstrous thing my family kept imprisoned there. My childhood cabin had a small, strangely featureless room on the first floor, always locked, which my parents insisted was merely a storage closet for forgotten junk they never truly used. Curiosity finally overwhelmed me one summer night. I forced the rusty lock, stepping into the oppressively silent darkness, a single flickering candle barely illuminating the profoundly empty space. The room was bare, except for a dusty, ornate wooden box in the corner, intricately carved with unsettling, unfamiliar symbols, and noticeably pulsing with a faint internal rhythmic glow. As I hesitantly approached, a cold, unnatural wind swept through the windowless room, extinguishing my candle instantly, plunging me into absolute chilling darkness and an eerie, growing silence.
Then I heard it, a soft, raspy whisper from within the box, calling my name, repeating it, growing louder, and the wood began to warp and crack under an unseen, terrible pressure. My heart pounded as the box suddenly snapped open violently, emitting a blinding flash of greenish light, revealing nothing but profound emptiness inside. Yet the whispering continued, now all around me. I stumbled backwards, desperate to escape, slamming the door shut with all my might, but the unsettling whispers now emanate faintly from everywhere in the cabin, chilling me to the bone. Now the cabin's ancient timbers creak with an intelligence, and sometimes my own reflection in windows briefly smiles with an unfamiliar, malevolent glint, watching me, knowing my name intimately.
Our remote family cabin harbored a locked cellar room, purportedly for storing old farming tools, but the eerie silence always surrounding its door hinted at something far more sinister. Driven by an unshakable sense of unease, I finally picked the ancient padlock, pushing open the creaking door to reveal a vast, pitch-black space consuming all available light and hope. My flashlight beam cut through the suffocating darkness, landing on a single old-fashioned gramophone in the center, its needle poised, ready to play some forgotten, haunting melody for an unseen audience. A sudden, static-filled burst of sound erupted from the gramophone, followed by a woman's terrified scream. Then frantic, muffled voices pleading desperately, detailing unspeakable rituals performed nightly there.
The recording abruptly ended, replaced by a low, guttural growl that reverberated through the stone floor, shaking the entire cabin, making the very air feel thick with profound, ancient malevolence. As I stood frozen in terror, the gramophone's arm slowly lifted itself, then dropped, initiating a new, horrifying recording. My own voice, distorted, begging for mercy from an unknown entity. I stumbled backward, fleeing that terrifying cellar, slamming the door shut against the impossible horror. But the faint, echoing sound of my future screams now occasionally whispers from below. Now, the cabin feels like a predator's den, and sometimes I catch glimpses of shadowy figures in the periphery, waiting patiently for my inevitable return to that cursed, sound-trapping room.
The small, windowless utility room in my family's old cabin was always locked, parents claiming it held nothing but dangerous chemicals, but the strange, sweet, decaying smell suggested a darker truth. Using a crowbar, I forced open the rusted door, revealing a single, archaic metal table in the center, bearing strange surgical tools laid out meticulously, all stained with an unknown, viscous residue. On the floor, intricate, almost biological diagrams were scrawled in an alien script depicting horrifying dissections of something clearly not human, sending shivers down my spine in the dim light. A soft, rhythmic dripping sound echoed from behind a stained canvas sheet draped in the corner, a sickening squelch that pulsed like a heartbeat, pulling me closer with morbid, irresistible curiosity.
As I cautiously pulled back the sheet, I gasped, finding a large, pulsating, gelatinous mass on the floor, vaguely humanoid in shape, slowly expanding and contracting, utterly horrifying to behold. The mass suddenly extended a long, slender tendril towards me, slowly probing the air, and a faint, high-pitched telepathic whisper invaded my mind, asking for release in a non-human language. I screamed, dropping everything, frantically scrambling out, slamming the door shut with tremendous force. But the viscous mass left a trail, and the tendril had brushed my bare arm briefly. Now, an unbearable itching spreads where it touched me, and I see subtle purple veins developing beneath my skin, while the sweet, decaying smell follows me everywhere, forever changing my reality.
My grandparents' isolated cabin had a small, bricked-up room off the kitchen, which they always vaguely called too dangerous. But its true, horrifying purpose now haunts my waking nightmares. During renovations, I discovered a loose brick and pried it open, revealing a narrow, suffocating crawl space behind the wall, permeated by a chilling coldness and the faint smell of decay. Inside, nestled amidst crumbling mortar, was an old leather-bound journal, its pages brittle, filled with frantic, looping handwriting detailing horrific acts of ritualistic sacrifice performed within these very walls. One entry chillingly described a binding ritual performed on a family member who sought to expose their dark secrets, sealing them away forever within the cabin's very foundation.
As I read, a faint, desperate scratching began from deep within the crawlspace walls, moving erratically as if something ancient and starved was attempting to claw its way free right then. My flashlight beam flickered, revealing faded bloodstains on the exposed brick, old and dark. Yet they seemed to pulse with a faint, malevolent glow, intensely cold to the touch. I dropped the journal, scrambling backward, slamming the loose brick back into place, but I swear I heard a muffled, anguished scream right where the scratching had just been. Now, the cabin's foundation whispers my name when I'm alone, and sometimes I feel an icy grip on my ankle, a chilling reminder that my family's dark past is still desperately trying to pull me in.